Hi guys and welcome back. The first thing I want to do is thank Peter in Wisconsin for sending me this t-shirt. Thanks Peter, I really appreciate it and I hope you enjoy today. So the bane of any car restorer or car collector's life must be rust. I think we've all had to deal with it at some point. But maybe if you live in a warm climate or they don't salt the roads where you are, then you perhaps may not have had to face the things that I'm going to be looking at today. Now I live in Sweden and we have very long winters and they do salt the roads here, so I see a lot of salt corrosion on some of the cars I find around the country. So as I was in the middle of a restoration of a 1983 900 EMS, I thought I would document one of the rust repairs that I have done using a method that I have found to be quite reliable over the years. So quick disclaimer here, this is by no means the or only way to repair rust, of course, but it is a method I found that is cost effective, within the capabilities of most people to be able to do, and does produce pretty good results. So I'm kind of aiming at the hobbyist mechanic like myself, who perhaps doesn't really have any welding skills yet, and may not have the budget to take his car to a workshop to have the work done. I have found this method to be quite reliable, and I have gone back to cars I did 6 years ago where I found that the repair has held up and rust hasn't returned, and the owner is very happy with the result. So guys, welcome back to the Classic Saab Guy, and let's look at a Saab 900 rust repair. I bought this 1983 Saab 900 EMS from another Saab collector colleague recently after I lost another Saab in a bad car accident. The EMS had some immediate problems I had to solve, which was a leaking petrol tank, I had to replace the clutch, and also some vacuum hoses around the engine bay. However, the most obvious problem was there were some rust issues on the car in some usual places: under the wheel trims, bottom of the doors, the petrol cap cover, some spot rusting in a few places, some places more severe than others, where the bodywork had really been under attack by salt corrosion. Generally though, this Saab is mechanically and structurally sound, nice clean interior, and seems to have been taken care of in its 37-year life. There is no rust on the screen edges or sunroof, which is good, so I think the EMS just needs some TLC to sort out the rust and cosmetic problems, and perhaps pay attention to some of the detailing. This video will mostly cover how I deal with the rust at the front wheel arch, which is the most severe and visible rust problem on the car. The first thing to do is to remove the wheel arch trim. I found over the years that spraying some WD-40 into the upper lip of the wheel arch trim helps this process. After you've allowed the WD-40 to do its job, then you can start to remove the trim. The trick here is not to pull at the top of the trim, but to grab both sides of the trim and gently pull downwards. When it starts to come, work yourself around the wheel arch so it comes off uniformly. This way you don't crack or deform the trim. With the trim off, you can see that water and salt has just sat inside the trim and gradually eaten away at the metal underneath, which is so common on Saabs I found in Sweden. Here we will look at the extent of the damage. I use a hammer to gently tap away at the rust to see what is rotten and loose and where good metal could be underneath. Remember to keep your work area clean, and you don't want to be breathing in rust particles. Always wear a mask and eye protection. Now I use a soft wire brush to clean the rust dust off. It looks like I will need to remove the pieces of side trim either side of the wheel as well. If you do use a flat bladed screwdriver like me, make sure that the edge goes inside the trim so you don't scratch the paintwork. Now I use a grinder to grind down the rust to good metal. Although I will be repainting a lot of the wheel arch area, I'm still being careful not to hit the bodywork outside the wheel arch area that I'm going to be repairing. Eventually some good metal begins to be exposed. We will use this as a foundation to rebuild the wheel arch. First, I mask up the area that I need protected, as I'll be doing some sanding. I use a hard grit here just to remove any possible sharp edges, then I clean off the area to remove dust and dirt. I will be using an aluminium and zinc based wire mesh to rebuild the general contour line of the outside edge of the wheel arch. I roughly shape it to fit and hold it in place with some multi-bond glue from the inside of the arch. This environment friendly filler can be a little tricky to use than most fillers as it goes from pliable to hard very quickly. It's just a personal choice of what I like to use. And excuse my crude application, but I need this to go on thick so I have enough to work with when I later reshape the arch. It's then a case of using the grinder with a sanding attachment so I can roughly reshape the wheel arch before using first 80 grit, then 180 grit sandpaper to smooth it down. After wet sanding, we're ready for paint. I wanted to test this repair with this rust encapsulated paint by Eastwood, as I heard that it got good reviews and I really wanted to see how this holds up after a year. I just want to add that Eastwood do not endorse my channel and this is not an advert for the products, just simply something that I will be using. Sorry, I forgot to film the result of the black encapsulator paint, but here is the arch after the next stage of primer went on, and then the top coat and lacquer, and here is the final result after I put all the trims back on with some multi-bond glue and then polished the wing. Not a bad result, I think. I have to reiterate that this is just a method I've used to be able to get good, cheap, long-lasting results that is both practical and aesthetically pleasing. Notice some of the detailing I did, such as repainting the badges and refinishing the trims. So there you go guys, there's my short video on a rust repair that I documented. Now I will say again, by no means is it the only way to repair rust on a car. If I still lived in the UK, I probably would have replaced the whole wing and had a respray, but that's because it's a lot cheaper to have that work done. I'm still learning welding skills myself, so I'm not quite at the level where I feel I can actually do that here, and to take it to someone else in Sweden is actually very, very expensive. So I'm finding solutions that are cost effective, that produce good results, and someone could do at home. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of comments down below, and I'll look forward to responding to those. Guys, thanks for today, and I'll see you next time on the Classic Saab Guy.